condolences to the family of the late Mr. Franco Fakwandi, to this House, and to the nation at large. Minister, thank you for your policy statement. And having clubbed all the three budget lines, I would have imagined, Mr. Chairman, that you would have also allowed members to debate at least for 20 minutes, because there are three budget lines. But I'll try. The Ministry of Local Government, the Local Government Service Commission are established under the Constitution of the Republic. And under Article 151, where the ministry is actually established, we have other statutes that brings life to the functions of the ministry. And you did mention the CDF that is established under Article 162 and the Local Authority Equalization Fund under 163. You also referred to some subsidiary legislation in the Markets and Bus Station Act, all under your ministry. You also laced your policy statement with lamentations of inadequate funding. I will start with the Local Government Service Commission. The Local Government Service Commission, Mr. Speaker, is mandated, is compelled to appoint officers of the councils. And I want to put it to you that from my view and from what I've experienced in many councils that I've visited, the appointments appear to be haphazard. Haphazard in the sense that they do not account to the requirement of gender sensitivity. It does not also respond to the account of ethnicity. I would like to make an appeal, without going into too much detail, that the Commission must look at those two concerns of mine, that when they are doing their appointments, they must look at the Constitution, because it's a constitutional requirement. The CDF, Honorable Minister, your ministry has failed us. It has failed us completely. But I assume that your spirit is willing, but probably your body is weak to be able to extract this money which we budget for from the Minister of Finance. Because half the time you will say there's no funding. Why then did the crafters of this Constitution embed this particular matter in the Constitution? There shall be CDF. It needs to be given priority. It requires to be given priority if you want to see that devolution of power function. The issue of the Equalization Fund, which you also referred to, will not exempt you from blame, Honorable Minister, because there are councils, including my council, the Mazabuka Municipal Council, which is fairly stronger than many councils that I know in this country, that have not received. They have a backlog of the receipt of the Local Authority Equalization Fund. And in that case, you will find that the council workers do not get paid their salaries. Now, you must check this out, Minister, that how on earth can I go to report from 8 to 5 when I'm not getting a pay? That has created an environment for corruption to thrive. Because I can't go to work if I'm not getting my remuneration. There is rampant corruption, Honorable Minister, in your councils. Many people have gone there, and I'm not about to demonize anyone. The issue of land, because many, in fact, all councils are agents of the Ministry of Land. There is too much corruption in the administration of land in local authorities. And I think that your interministerial committee, where the Minister of Land also sits, must look at this matter very, very carefully, because the boys and girls, I'm sorry I'll call them that, because we made a constitutional provision that excluded the wise and put the intelligent. The wise being those who didn't have grade 12 certificate, who had a calling to serve people. And then we brought youngsters, in most cases, because they have grade 12 certificate, who have no sense of duty to the mother country. And so land alienation has become a business in the councils. And normally posterity is what judges us after the fact. It is important that your ministry looks at what I'm saying very carefully. We have lamented about this arbitrary apportionment of land everywhere, even in places that are designated, for instance, for play parks. There is a reason why that act which you referred to, it used to be called the Town and Planning, now it's Urban Planning Act. It provided for spaces in the council, Honorable Minister, for recreation. There's none right now, because boys and girls have apportioned this land for personal aggrandizement and for personal gain. The exclusion of the Member of Parliament from the council did not help the situation. And I'm sure you all agree, it did not help the situation, because half the time, Member of Parliament has no clue what's going on in the council. Exactly. They don't have. And yet when grievances come, they will call the Member of Parliament, here MP, can you help? And yet you are blank. Minister, the Markets and Bus Station Act. You have failed, not you as an individual, your ministry has failed to put that into practice by the letter. We still have boys and girls, hoodlums, who in the name of a political party will want to control the markets. Who in the name of the ruling party, your party, PF, Honorable Minister, who want to control the bus station. Who in the name of your party have promoted anarchy. They can create a bus station where there's no bus station. And we are living in a society that is supposed to be organized. We are not organized. This is an area, Honorable Minister, through you, the chair, that we are able to hold you by the hand and work together with you to bring sanity. You refer to the vendors. That is another area of failure, Honorable Minister. The markets are not functioning because the cadres will want to see where you are affiliated before they give you a market store. Consequent to that, people decide to get out of the market and go and start selling in the street. And then you have money enough as a government now to every 17, 18 hours deploy paramilitary police to go chasing people around who want to make a living. Vision 2030 has got aspirations. There's nothing that PF is doing today, Mr. Chairman, that can make us achieve those aspirations. Nothing. You can say question. But reality is not an illusion. This is a country, Mr. Speaker, where on one hand, our colleagues from PF are busy saying we are improving the standard of living. For the first time, I saw a goods train laden with petroleum products being looted while it's moving. Looting, Badala, while it's moving. Boys and girls, old people, climbing on a moving train. An act of criminality with buckets on the copper belt. If you haven't seen that, I'll show you. It is a shame that you can be thinking that lives of people is being improved, and yet people have stopped fearing death by going on a wagon while it's tracting on a wagon, going on top while it's moving, take a petrol, take a diesel, collecting diesel and passing on to children as they're running and say, "Ya fulasana in Salam PF." And then, you sit and think all is okay. The opportunities that Zambian people deserve to get can only come when you interface with reality, the reality on the ground. This same particular law, the Constitution, I'm going to give a quotation from it. The demand that insists that, and this is Honorable Mr. Chairman and Minister of Local Government, it is 151B of the Constitution. It says that there is established a local government system where the people's participation in democratic governance is promoted. People have been left behind by PF. You are alone in the locomotive engine, and you don't know that the trucks that you are hauling behind, people are looting. It's a bad sign. It's a terrible sign. It's a definition of extreme poverty, where people can think that it's okay to just loot. Mr. Chairman, it is the local government that is responsible also for domestic animals like dogs. You must check in the streets of Lusaka now that because of hunger in households, dogs have left home. They don't leave home no more. And now they come and say, if we see dogs just moving, we'll be shooting them. That's against animal rights. You can't go around shooting dogs arbitrarily. People have failed to maintain dogs. The dogs are now, go to Melissa Market there, and you find dogs mingling with people. In Lusaka here. It is a bad sign. It is a terrible sign. People must participate in economic activities, in the councils, in the markets, in the bus station. They must be allowed to do that. You talked about township roads, Honorable Minister. For me, your party, PF, they wanted to use that as a bait for the people, the wise people of Mazabuka, very wise. Some minister who's not even here because he couldn't make it to come back went, no, MP has failed to make a road. Me, make a road. How? You start making 18 kilometers, only 18 kilometers of township roads in Mazabuka. And here the minister said, Honorable Chair, they had to downscale, they had to choose which roads to conclude and which ones not to conclude. In the face of Mazabuka, where they were only left with spraying the bitumen because they had already done all the works, they allowed the rain to come and destroy what they had done. This PF government. Who did they sit with to decide which councils to finish and which councils not to finish? We hear them talk, pave this, pave that, paving somewhere. Back in our regions, Honorable Minister, there is nothing going on. Nothing. If it is you who makes these decisions, I'm making an appeal to you. Because in your previous life, you were a very nice man. But now I'm surprised. You make decisions without us being informed to say, and justification, so that I can tell the people who I represent to say, Mazabuka Township roads are not going to be done now because of ABC, but I know for a fact, with no doubt in my mind, that you are paying that contractor penalties because you failed. When you contract something, you fail to live up to the contractual obligations, there are penalties. You may hide behind the fingers, but the truth of the matter is that your ministry needs to be helped, and it can only be helped with PF making sure that they put the money where the mouth is. In the absence of doing that, I'm sorry, you leave your office